morning. This is May the 8th, 2024, Wednesday, and we are in BBA second semester, section A, compulsory English class, where one of us had made two presentations on the essay on happiness. And as he is absent today, I will continue discussing the essay. So, if you have the book, you can follow me. I will take you through the paragraphs. So, essays like this, like on happiness, on sadness, on pain, suffering. These essays are about life and existence. And the writings which deal with life and existence, they may have philosophical tone. So this essay has philosophical tone. And if you see the quotation with which the essay begins, she brings a quotation by Jeffrey D. Sachs, Global Happiness Council, where he says that people around the world yearn for happiness. Everybody in the world wants happiness. Nobody will say, I don't want happiness. Everybody says, I want to be happy. It is universal. Happiness is a universal desire, right? Nobody wants war. Watch Ukrainian people giving interviews. They will say they are sad with the war. They don't want war, right? And then we read that the politician's primary duty is to deliver the common good. So what brings happiness? Common good brings happiness. What is common good? Common good is doing those things which make everybody happy. You want to say something?
Can I go out?
Go. You are coming back? You are coming back? Okay. So, what should politicians deliver? They should deliver common good. And as I read this sentence, I ask a question: are the Nepalese politicians delivering the common good? And I get the answer no. So Nepalese politicians are not working for the happiness of the Nepalese people, because their activities show that they do not aim for the goodness of the people in general. Then she opens her essay with a statement that we are living in grim times. No doubt. Only a few days before, I was watching a video on social media where Vladimir Putin was speaking. And he says that if the world, rest of the world, stands against Russia, and if the world tries to destroy Russia, then Russia will use nuclear bomb in Ukrainian war. And Putin says that Russia has full right to use nuclear bomb if the world tries to obliterate its existence. And this morning I read the news that Vladimir Putin has been elected Russian president for the 5th time. And I become scared. There is a political leader who says he can use nuclear bomb. And he not only that, Putin said that this will be a disaster for the world. Putin said that if Russia is forced to use nuclear bomb in Ukraine, it will be a disaster for the whole world. And now he is a leader. So what I was saying, we are living in grim times. Though Priscilla Young says this about America, and he gives lots of examples if you see the first paragraph. She says that there are lots of killings. Policemen kill citizens. And in recent years, if you're aware, lots of black people were shot down by police in America in recent 5-6 years. There were a lot of turmoil, right? And when Donald Trump was the president, there was more problems in America, political problems, right? Then she raises, second paragraph, she raises a question. What question? What is happiness? She raises a question. What is happiness? And then she raises a series of questions. Is it this? Is it that? And she implies that these are rhetorical questions. Questions which are not actually questions, rather which are assertions. For example, she says that what is happiness? Happiness is the satisfaction that we get when we feel that we have done a job well. If at the end of this class, I feel that I taught well today, that gives me satisfaction. So what is satisfaction? The feeling that you have done your work the best possible way. That gives you satisfaction. Second, she says that satisfaction is unexpectedly, surprisingly getting something. For example, you go for food and you get the dessert before the main course. You know, dessert, sweets we eat after the main course. Imagine they give you the dessert before the main course. You get to eat sweets before you eat the rice. That's fine, good. Unexpectedly, good things happen. Then she says that happiness is you have the garden and you go in the garden with a chair and you sit under a tree. The cuckoo bird is singing in the tree. Other birds are singing around the area. It's peaceful. That is happiness. What is happiness? Happiness is you have a child, your son, daughter, say 3 years old, and you read a storybook to her. You read a tale. Give me this mobile phone. Happiness is you play with your mobile phone when the teacher is explaining the lesson. That is happiness because you enjoy playing on the mobile phone. Now sadness is she will come to my room asking for the mobile and I'll give her a very huge assignment to do. That's sadness, right? That is sadness, right? Because I seized her mobile because she was not paying attention to me. And now she will come, Divakar sa mobile disiyo na. I'll say, yo whole part of Nepal ma ulta gara leu.
This is all you.
Ah, look, she just this all you right? Okay. So happiness is reading books to your children, right? Happiness is doing good things, like assisting your mother in the kitchen. Happiness is, it's Mother's Day. Happiness is, okay. Okay. Oh, don't film, don't film. Don't film. It's not a good thing. Happiness is, you take sweets to your mom, fruits this afternoon.
Yes.
and she blesses you. That is happiness, right? Happiness is cleaning your room, cleaning the kitchen, tidying things in a room, putting in proper places. And at the end you see a room looks beautiful. That is happiness. Happiness is kissing someone you love. Happiness is sharing bed with someone you love. Happiness is having sex. Happiness is sunbathing. Happiness is having a hot water shower in the winter. Happiness is inviting your dear friend over dinner and talking as you eat together. Right? Then she says, can we define happiness? She says, can we define happiness? And she brings one very good definition, very short and sweet definition. She refers to the Buddhist monk Matthew Ricard, and she says, who defines happiness as happiness is flourishing. Okay, everybody, take your mobile phone. Now, open a dictionary. In a mobile phone, open a dictionary. And look out for the word well-being. In your mobile dictionary, check the meaning of the word well-being.
The state of being comfortable, healthy or happy. And
Wait, let me read out. Okay. Happiness is, look here. According to this dictionary, happiness is the state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy. Comfortable, healthy, or happy. Other definitions, someone please give me other definitions. Can you give me other definitions, please? Someone give me other definitions.
Contentment.
Okay, contentment. What does contentment mean? What does contentment mean?
Santusta.
Satisfaction. So content means being satisfied with what you have. So what is happiness? Happiness is being satisfied with what you have. Can you give me some other definitions? Can you give me some other definitions? Okay, here I have this Merriam-Webster dictionary. Let's read. So happiness is the state of being happy, healthy, or prosperous. Prosperous. Look, let me write here. Let me write. Happiness is being healthy, being happy, being prosperous. Okay, that's what happiness is. Very simple definition. So what is happiness? Flourishing well-being, making people healthy, making people happy, making people prosperous, doing good to everyone. That is what happiness is. And you will see that this is a very philosophical definition of happiness. And throughout the essay, Priscilla Long develops this idea of happiness as flourishing well-being. And she supports this meaning of happiness. So in that sense, Priscilla Long in this essay, she supports the Buddhist definition of happiness by Matthew Ricard. Then she raises a third question. What makes me happiness? Or what might make you happy? What makes me happy or what might make you happy? Then she says that happiness is, see, at the end of that paragraph, where she says, what might make us happy? What might make me happy? She says that happiness is leading an ethical life. Okay. She brings ethics. As an example, what is meaning of ethical life? Suppose your spouse is beating your child. What is ethics? Your spouse is overdrunk. He has come home overdrunk. And he starts misbehaving with you because he's drunken. So what is ethics? You oppose it. You inform the police. You call the police. You don't tolerate that. You stand against injustice. That is ethics. What is ethics? Ethics is opposing all wrong things in life. Not only your life, other people's life. And she says that you get happiness if you live ethical life. What is ethical life? You never do wrong things. Things which are considered sinful. Things which are considered illegal. Things which are considered bad. Things which are considered immoral. You don't do that. You do only those activities which are good, which are legal, which are lawful, which are moral, which are ethical. Then you are living ethical life. And if you live such ethical life, you will find happiness, she says. So she connects happiness with ethics. She relates happiness with ethics. If we live moral life, we will be happy. If we live immoral life, we can never be happy. Okay. Then she brings another reference, Martin Seligman, the founder of positive psychology, who says that there are three kinds of happinesses. What are they? There are three kinds of happinesses. Okay. What are the three kinds of happinesses? One is living pleasant life. How? Having fun-filled life, eating delicious food, and having a lot of friends. Living pleasant life. That brings happiness, according to Martin Seligman. Second is living good life. So the difference between pleasant life and good life. He makes a difference between pleasant life and good life. What is good life? Good life is a life of engagement. What is a life of engagement? A life when you are always busy doing good things. When you are not idle, you are not lazy, you are not Kumbhakarna. You know Kumbhakarna? He slept long time. When you don't sleep till late in the morning, you wake up early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise. The proverb goes, early to bed and early to rise. Say with me, early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise. What's that hooting? Ooh, right. Okay. So, what is life of engagement? Life of engagement is be involved in an activity to the extent that you forget yourself. I forgot which scientist. I read a funny story about a scientist. Maybe I forgot the name of scientist. I read somewhere that the scientist was busy in the laboratory experimenting with his inventions. And he was so involved in his laboratory that he forgot marrying. He never remembered that he has to marry. He never remembered being in love with a woman, with a lady. Why? He was so involved in his invention, in his discovery, in the laboratory. So, what is engaged life? You are doing something you love. For example, I love teaching. And when I teach you in the class, I forget myself. I forget my family. I forget my parents. I forget my friends. I know only one thing: the class, students, and the subject. That is engagement. That brings you happiness because you love doing your job. You might love playing guitar, fine. You might love dancing. You might love simply traveling, hiking. Do whatever you love most and do that thing in such a way that you forget the rest of the world. You are dancing, so you forget the audience, forget the judges, forget the world and dance. Forget yourself, dance. That is what brings happiness. Doing what you love doing the best way. That is called second thing. What is living a good life? So living a good life and living a pleasant life. Now the third is living a meaningful life. Living a meaningful life. I'll bring example of the third one from your novel you read, Shoe Dog. In the story Shoe Dog, we read about the narrator Phil Knight. So what is meaningful life? Meaningful life is being devoted to something larger than the self. Being devoted to something larger than the self. This very truly applies to that story. Phil Knight, the narrator, he lives a truly meaningful life. In the very beginning he says, I want my time to be meaningful, to be purposeful, to be important, to be different. And he says, so I follow my crazy idea. So how does he live meaningful life? He is devoted to something. What is that something? That something is his dream. What dream? To establish a shoe company. He has that crazy idea. And he dedicates his life following that dream of establishing company. He goes around the world. He reaches Japan. He visits Onitsuka Shoe Company. He meets people. And he tells them, my company name is Blue Ribbon Company. And he develops that company later on as Nike Shoe Company. That is living meaningful life. What is meaningful life? A life which is remembered even after you die. Today we are reading Phil Knight's biography, autobiography, even after his death. Because he did something great. He left a mark on the world. The narrator in the story, Shoe Dog, says, I want to leave a mark on the world. So what is meaningful life? A life which is remembered even when you are gone. Why? Because you do something great. Kirtir yasya sajivati is said in Sanskrit. Kirtir yasya sajivati. Who lives after death? The answer is those who do glorious work. Shakespeare was born April 22nd, 1564. And this is May 8th, 2024. almost 600 years. And we remember him. Why? Kirtir Yasya Sajivati. He wrote great. यसको मिनिङ के हो? कीर्तिर यस्य सजीवती, जसले कीर्ति रहने काम गर्छ, अरूको मेमोरी बस्ने काम गर्छ, सजीवती, ऊ मरेपछि नि बाँच्छ। संसारले सम्झिने लायकको काम जसले गर्छ, ऊ मरेपछि नि बाँच्छ। Right? That is what brings happiness. Right? Look how philosophical this is. Right? Okay. Then she gives some more examples. She says, what is happiness for me? She gives some examples which can be followed if you like them. She gives very good examples. She says, what makes me happy is, I feel happy when I rise before dawn. My father is 90 and he rises exactly at 4 or 3:30, between 3:30 to 4. I often rise before 5. Rising before dawn makes her happy. Then what does she do? She says, I wake up early morning and I make a cup of coffee and take my diary and write my daily diary. That is what makes me happy. She's a writer. She's 75. How old is she? How old is she? 75. And she's an author, writer. She loves writing. So the best thing for her is early morning, brewing a cup of coffee and sipping the coffee and writing a daily diary. That's what gives happiness to her. Right? Then after, she brings a case of Bhutan. She changes the topic of the essay. She focuses on Bhutan and says that Bhutan publishes gross national happiness score. Gross national happiness score of its citizens, more than for a decade, and it's world famous. So Bhutan publishes how happy its people are. And what factors are considered? So the government prepares a set of questions and the citizens answer those questions. And based on their answers on the survey, Bhutan decides how happy its people are. What things are considered in this questionnaire? Let's see very carefully. What things are considered in this questionnaire? For example, they ask its people about their physical health and psychological health. What do they consider? Physical and psychological health. Next, they ask you, do you think you are playing a useful part in things? Do you think you are contributing to the society? Then they ask about level of self-confidence. How confident you are with yourself. Then they ask, how much do you worry daily? Then they ask, do you go to temple, monastery? Are you spiritual? Then they ask, do you do meditation? Do you meditate? Then they ask, do you have historical literacy? Do you know Bhutanese history? Do you know kings' names? Do you know our cultural icons? Okay, let me test. How many of you know in this class who is Pandab Sunwar?
He is a person.
That is a very clever answer.
But I answered it.
Who is Pandab Sunwar? Anybody?
One of the Pandab.
Okay. Who is Lady Gaga? Singer. Look, you know about Lady Gaga, who is not a Nepali figure. You don't know about Pandab Sunwar. Both are singers. Pandab Sunwar is a very famous Nepali folk singer. And you have no idea. That means you have a zero cultural literacy. You have zero cultural literacy. You don't know about Nepalese singers. Who is Melba Devi? Melba Devi. Melba Devi. Who is Bhuvan Chand? Bhuvan Chand is the actress of Nepali movie Maitighar. Melba Devi is a very old classical Nepali singer. Look, you know about Lady Gaga. You know about Shakira.
Yes, he's done.
But you don't know about Melba Devi. Who is Bhaktaraj Acharya?
Actor.
He died recently. He was a very famous Adhunik singer. Right? Look, you have almost zero cultural literacy. That doesn't make you happy. So what makes you happy? When you know about your culture, when you know about your history, when you know about legends, that makes you happy, right? Then civic literacy. What makes Bhutanese happy? Priscilla talks about civic literacy. What is civic? Okay, I have a question. You are a Nepali citizen. You must be over 18. What is your duty as a citizen? Tell me one example.
Voting the right candidates.
Okay, good. That's civic literacy. So Anup said, my duty is voting the right candidate. Okay, let me ask Sirisa. Sirisa, you are 19-year-old girl. You have the voting age. So as a citizen, what is your duty?
To vote for the right person for a better government.
Okay, that is what he said. Can you add something more? As a citizen, what is your duty in society?
To be civilized and follow the rules and regulations.
Okay, to be civilized. Good. To be civilized, I should behave properly with people I'm around. That is civic literacy. Okay, there is cultural literacy. Okay. What is Yomari?
Yomari?
Nevari food. Okay, you know. What is Gadhemangal? Nobody help. What is Gadhemangal?
I'm not Nevari.
Okay. Look, you are not Nevari, but you should be aware about the culture celebrated in your country. What is Baqareed?
That's Eid festival.
Okay. Festival. Very clever festival, right? Okay. What is Baruthini Ekadasi?
Baruthini Ekadashi, where no.
We had this about 2 or 3 days before.
Yes.
What festival are Nepalese celebrating today? Mother's Day. Okay. Now, what is ecological literacy? What do you do in your day-to-day life to protect the environment? Give me one example. What do you do?
I don't throw wrappers around the street.
You don't use plastic wrappers. You said.
But I dispose them.
Okay. So she avoids using plastic wrappers. That is ecological literacy. What do you do to save the environment in daily life?
I don't use vehicles. I don't use smoke. I don't use vehicles.
You plant trees. Have you really planted trees? Really? Okay. What do you do to protect the nature in daily life?
I don't throw the wastage in. I throw the wastage in dustbin.
Okay, I throw the waste in the dustbin and dispose them properly. That is ecological literacy, right? So these are the variables which are used to decide whether Bhutanese people are happy or unhappy, right? For example, okay, then she raised the question. If Bhutanese people are happy, as the report says, if the gross national happiness score is high, then she says, why are the Bhutanese people refugees then? If Bhutan has high happiness score, why are Bhutanese people refugees? Why are they leaving Bhutan and going to India and then coming to Nepal and from Nepal going to Australia and America? And she says that Bhutan is politically practicing ethnic cleansing. What is ethnic cleansing? You bring such policies which aim at harming a particular ethnic group. These days India is having elections. And if you watch Indian media, do you see the hate speech against Muslims in India these days? Politicians are divided between Hindu and Muslim. That's not a good thing. Right? So Bhutan in 1990 expelled hundreds of thousands of Nepali people. Nepalese people living in Bhutan for generations were forced to quit the country by the army. Army came in their homes, beat them, tortured them, and forced them to quit their homes. And more than 100,000 Nepali people left Bhutan and entered India. What India did? India did not allow those Nepalese to live in India. India said, you are Nepali, so go to Nepal. And crossing the Mechi river in Japa, they entered Nepal. And they were kept in refugee camps in Khudanabari and other areas in Japa. And decades later, many of them were taken to countries like America as refugees. So she says, Bhutan cannot be a happy country. Why? Because Bhutan is not practicing ethical politics. Bhutan is not practicing ethical politics. And she says, happiness is doing ethical things and not doing unethical things. When as a state, when as a government, you torture your own people to the extent that they have to leave their country, you cannot be said to be a happy country. Right? Now, after this, she changes her topic. She again changes the topic. And she comes to United Nations Resolution on Happiness. United Nations passed a resolution on happiness in 2011. And this resolution was sponsored by Bhutan. Right? And according to this resolution, what was proposed? Member countries of United Nations should give more importance to happiness and well-being in determining how to achieve and measure social and economic development. Social and economic development should focus on people's well-being. Development should focus on people's well-being. Any development work should increase common good. It should increase common good. Right? Then she talks about Annual World Happiness Report, Global Happiness Council 2017, which defines what makes us happy. According to that report, it says that what is happiness? Economic prosperity. The more money you have, the happier you might feel. What is happiness? Having a decent job for everyone. In Indian election this week, I heard youth saying on camera, "Nokri nahi hai hamare paas." तो हम कैसे खुश होंगे? We stop.